What is up, guys? This is Harv with Harv's Corner. For today's mod review, we wanted to talk about the new Castle Keeps and Forts mod that came out for the science fiction category. Now, if you're familiar with all the other Castle Keeps and Forts, it's mostly medieval architecture, all that good stuff, and really cool aesthetics, being able to change pretty much everything and how it looks with all additional tiers of building and all that good stuff. This is basically the same method, the same process, but done with more of a sci-fi feel. And this thing looks pretty awesome. So I just kind of threw together this building. I know it definitely doesn't do this mod justice, just to kind of let you know what sort of material you're going to be looking at and working with. And we'll kind of go over the ins and outs of just a little bit of it. But I'm going to start actually over here with just the gates real quick. So the gates, you have a couple different options, and you still have double doors and single doorways. We'll talk about those, but this is really like the gate entrances for the most part. So we have this medium gate that's like a 2x2 basically, and these auto open and close up and down, which is kind of weird that door, I'm assuming it like rolls up inside of there is what it's supposed to be doing. But in either case, that's how that works. And then the large gate is a 2x3, basically does the same motion, kind of reels up and down. You can set them to auto open and close, you can set the delays, all that good stuff that you could usually do before. You have this ramp sort of gate that you can put on the roof, or depending on how your base is laid out. And then you also have this like basically hatch frame that can come up and down. So that's kind of the moving gate pieces in general, but let's go back over here. We're kind of going to talk about a lot of this stuff here just in around this general area. So let's do, so typical foundations, that's what you're working with. That's what the square foundation looks like. There's a triangle one that looks pretty much the same exact pattern, just obviously a triangle. And these are some of your railings. These are just, instead of actual railings, these are like the half walls and like the half wall for stairs that slope, much like the regular Castle Keeps and Forts mods already do. This is the double door with a double door frame, just a standard double door. You have options between glass doors and regular doors, whether they're double doors or single doors, and we have them on the back end, and I'll show you those too. You have a couple different wall options. So these this is actually two different walls right here, and they're large walls. So it's two sections of walls stacked on top of each other. So it covers a 1x2 area. This is a single wall, and this is actually a glass variant. So you can make normal walls that are solid like these guys, or you can make glass walls as well. And then you also have access to the half walls, which can be regular walls or glass walls. So basically glass and regular composite walls and glass walls are pretty much what you're looking at. Most of the things in here are either going to be like just glass or composite. So that's pretty much what you're going to find. There's really only one tier available right now, but they're supposed to be working on a couple more. So be prepared to see some more coming down the pipe. So we'll go around the perimeter, we'll check the roof, and then we'll go on the inside because I got some things in there to show you too. These is two normal wall sections. This is the accent piece that you can slap between sections to kind of just give it a little bit, dress it up a little bit, and that's that there. This is like a medium-sized wall, which resembles that medium-sized gate over there, so it's a 2x2, and then you have the 2x3, which mimics the large wall over there as well. Bouncing up a little bit, you get your regular wedges, you get your inclines of solid or glass, and you'll get inverted options as well. So it won't just be those; it'll actually be an inverted option that'll have the for more of a slant or sloped upward look. Anyway, over on this side, this is the glass, starting from the left. We'll start from left to right, I guess. That's one of the large wall sections. That's one of your, we kind of went over these, the glass walls, the medium wall, the large wall sections that are, too high. These are your doors. These are a couple of the other doors. So we had a solid double door on the front, and this is the glass door, double door. This is a single door and single glass door. Now the doorways look like they're all offset. I don't think you can change that to be in the middle. At least I didn't see an option to. So they're always offset to that side, just so you know. We have a couple different railing options. I have a couple more inside that I'll show you too, but just standard railings. You have the railing that fits to the steps like this. But then you also have these that have the plates on them, like the railing here, and over here you have protruding rails with these plates on it, and it just sticks out a little bit further. It still clamps to the same spot, but it just sticks out a little bit further. It seems like every rail variant also has a protruding rail variant, with the exception of the stairs. I don't think the stairs had one. A lot of different options. Even though it's technically one tier, you get a lot of different options. So let's go to the roof. Let me get my ducks in a row here. So the roof, you get the standard things that you would expect out of the Castle Keeps and Forts. So the roof style are still the same. You get your corner pieces, and you get your straight slants. You get your gable tops. You get the inverted corners. You get all that. You get the wedges, you get the inverted wedges, and basically they come in either composite or glass. So those are your two real options for a lot of this stuff. You have a gable wall to fill in the the gable roof here, and then these are some of the other railings that just kind of plugged in here, so you can see it. That you can do a full wall of railings, and then the wedge railings as well. So that's pretty much it for the outside. Like I said, this is a little bit different so far because they haven't put out other tiers. So the Castle Keeps and Forts mod before had 3 different tiers. Right now, this is just one, and this is kind of the composite tier. And there's a couple of little added bonuses to that, but we'll go inside and talk about that. All the doors kind of just open and close like they're supposed to. Auto open and close, and yeah, I mean, you guys know. I mean, that's pretty straightforward, right? And you can actually change a couple of those things. We'll talk about the little menu a little bit later on. Let's go up top and look at these things, and then we'll come down and kind of go all the way around the room. So up top are some of your ceiling pieces. So you have regular ceilings, then you have glass ceilings, you have wedge, and then you have a glass wedge too. It looks just like this, just in a wedge shape, obviously. Anyway, these are interesting. These are like a featherweight grating that you can put down instead. When you craft this stuff, and I'll show you on that bench down there, they actually have a little icon next to them. It means that they weigh less. Now, they'll have less health. So like this one has 5,000 health, when this one has, oh no, they have the same amount of health. Wait a minute, 10,000. Okay, that one does. Okay, it looks like the triangle stays the same, which is kind of odd. I don't know if that was done on purpose or not. Now I'm kind of rethinking the purpose behind that. Anywho, with the ceilings, they have less health, but you're able to build further out. And it's worded in the description of the structure because it basically weighs less. It can build out further without pillar support, but it gets less health because of it. So kind of a cool little option to build out a little bit further if you want to. And yeah. So coming downstairs, we have 2 different railings on the stairs. I wanted to show you have the regular single, and then you have the double you can make all at one time and connect them up. You have on this side, you have 3 different pillar options. You have just the standard pillar, you have double, and then you have 4 pillars, and that's all one section, so it just snaps together. And if you have vanilla structures and you're incorporating with this build, then you have these 2 pieces. This is 2 different pieces. This line right here separates it. You have a vanilla wall, which is the standard height of a normal arc wall, whether stone, metal, thatch, whatever. But then you have this adapter piece that you can plug on top of it to basically make it the same height as all the Castle Keeps and Forts stuff. So standardly, the CKF stuff sits a little bit taller than traditional arc buildings, which I kind of like because you can make 1-story buildings and you don't feel like you're going to get a concussion every time you walk in the house. So definitely appreciate that. And these were the triangle foundations, which they line up really well and they create this cool little design. I really like that. It's just what you would expect out of a Castle Keeps and Forts mod. So you actually have like scaffolding, kind of. I think they called this, what do they call this? Gable. They call it Gable Trestles, but basically they call it trestles, but it's like an iron scaffolding sort of thing. So you have like a square wall, basically. You have your wedge, you have your inverted wedge, and you have like a half wall as well. So you can do more of a open feel scaffolding look. These are the full railings that I showed you earlier. You get an inverted railing, you get a standard railing, and then you get this protruding railing. So if you look down here, they're snapped to the same point, but this one just sticks out a little bit. And that's pretty much that. Over here, so we get a couple of structures. Let's talk about the generator first. You have like a generator that you just throw gasoline in like you normally would, but it creates wireless power, so much like the tech generator does. And then you have these outlets, the junction boxes that you can place around, and then you also have lights that you can turn on and off too. You can set those up. This way you get wireless power without having to worry about the tech generator, which is really neat. I dig it. And you have the option to like hide wires like you normally would if things are connecting to it. The composite crafting table. So this is the crafting table for basically everything that's in this mod that we're going to be talking about here. And you have the material change tool. We'll talk about that, but then you also have all the different structures that are in here that we talked about. And if you notice, these items that are featherweight, that are lightweight, that don't quite have the same hit points, but enable you to build out a little bit further because they're light, are marked with this little feather over top of the Ingrams when you actually try to craft them. That's the electrical one, so that doesn't really... Yeah, so most of your railings, your trestles, but then, like I said, even some of your... Where are we at? Some of the ceilings... specifically say in their description that they can be built up further because they have reduced weight, but they're half health. So you want to watch that when you're building those as well. But cool option to have to be able to build further out. In a lot of these cases. And most of this stuff is going to be metal cementing paste, as you can see. I think the glass is a little bit different. Where's the glass? The glass is going to require crystal too, but this is predominantly what you're going to use to craft a lot of this stuff is just cement and metal. So typically what you would need for normal metal structures, just a little bit different. Looks a little bit different, a little bit cooler, I think. And I think some of this, I want to say maybe it was the electrical stuff. Yeah, you start using electronics, obviously, to make some of that stuff as well. But it's not very resource intensive to make any of this stuff. I think if you're already making metal structures, this is pretty, this shouldn't be too difficult for you, probably. It's pretty much, well, actually, no, let's look. So let's pull up like a wall, right? And let's go to metal. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so a metal wall is 7 cement and 25 metal. And the vanilla wall over here is actually cheaper. So the regular composite wall is the same cost as the regular metal wall here. And the composite wall is actually bigger, it's taller. So you're actually getting more, you're covering more area with it, and it's the same general cost. And let's see if it's the same with the ceiling. So the normal ceiling is 10 and 35. And so is this, 10 and 35. So they're the exact same, but they give you a little bit more room. The walls do give you a bit more height anyway, though. So that's kind of cool. I mean, it's a direct comparison. So like I said, if you're making metal buildings, you can do this stuff and it looks really cool. We're not necessarily done yet because we wanted to talk about this doohickey. So if you played any of the CKF mod before, this is pretty much the same thing. You're allowed to, you can cycle through a lot of the different patterns that are offered in here, but then you can also replicate the patterns over so you don't have to go one by one to every wall section and trade it off. You can just do it that way. And in its inventory, when you highlight it, let me go ahead and do that. Down at the bottom, it tells you what hotkeys do exactly which. So Alt F1 is, or Alt 1 is the one we're going to use now, and that's literally just a cycle variant. And like if we're aiming at this wall section here, you can change the look of it a little bit. And it's not drastic, but it's enough that gives it a little bit of feel. And I don't think everything, not everything has it. I know the pillars do, so you can contrast the pillars. You can even make it match the trestle over there, change the facing of it. So you get those options. The stairs you can make solid. You can change the pattern on them. You can make hollow again. The glass is pretty cool. You can kind of change the shape of the glass, which I thought was pretty neat. And then you can change the glass to like this graded look to kind of match the graded floors if you wanted to. And then it cycles through all those different points as well. The glass floor you can cycle over to be graded or be glass, and I think the graded one you can change the direction. The direction of the grades change when you do that. There's a couple of other things. Basically, you can kind of just walk around, snap it around, change how you look. But predominantly, it seems to be like walls and ceilings for the most part, like walls, ceilings, and pillars. It looks like the trestles you can change where the supports stick up and how they look a little bit, but only on certain ones. Like I said, this half wall doesn't look like you can do anything with, but the wedges, you can eliminate some of those middle supports and re-add them back if you want. But we're not done there, right? So you think that's all you can do, but that's actually not the case. So let's use this guy, the Junction Box. So we see the colors. It's like red, orange, black, and has all the lettering on it. You can actually go back in here to the color profile and change everything. You can change all the different colors, right? So we can change the lighting coming off of it. We can change how it looks. We can change everything. And you get a full RGB to sit here and just scale back whatever you want to scale back, which I thought was pretty awesome. That is cool. So you can change the lights like that. But then once you're done, you can use this gun to copy this theme and paste it essentially everywhere else so that you don't have to sit there and go through the menu. So basically you kind of get like one wall section set up the way you want to, and then you can just copy and paste it over and you don't have to worry about it. And then, like I said, you can change all of this to the glass tint. Let's say if we wanted to make this green, we could do that. And then, so it's green glass. And then I think, which one's the copy? Clone and replay color of target. So I think that's, so it's Alt 4, right? So we should be able to just replay mode enabled, and then we can just we can just change the color of stuff as we see fit. So you already can change, you can basically change the color of one specific type of thing and just run around and change everything else to that thing. So super easy to replicate all that stuff as well. Super fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The CKF, like I said, because they only have the one tier, there's not a whole lot to go over yet, but it is pretty awesome. I love how it looks so far. Now, the walls do look a little bit bland on the outside, but I feel like these walls are probably meant to be more used for like perimeter walls, more so than like actual building walls, so you have that option as well. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Pretty cut and dry. Like I said, if you know CKF, you probably know what to expect already, and if you don't, this is pretty much it. Yeah. So we'll have the link to this mod in the description of the video. Definitely check that out on the Steam Workshop. They are actually planning on updating 2 other tiers it looks like in the notes there, but then they also have a couple of other things that they want to add too. I've been waiting for something like this, a good sci-fi-esque / modern feel to play around with. We did Rad Tools, and Rad Tools had some, but I really like some of this stuff, and I'm really curious to see where they go. I think they lined up, I think they said on their site there was a bunker section that they wanted to do too. It's a good like concrete look. I think that'd be pretty militaristic sort of feel. Anywho, guys, that's pretty much it. That's the CKF science fiction mod. And again, we'll have the link to their Steam Workshop in the description of the video. And if you like what you saw, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Feel free to follow me here, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch. We Twitch live stream Friday and Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. And as always, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Stay tuned later on this week. We're going to have another episode of our Conan playthrough as well as another episode of our Arc playthrough. And I will see you guys then. That's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. And until next time.